What's up everybody and welcome back to another tutorial. Today we're going to go into separating out your subject. We're going to look at how to separate your subject from the background, make it stand out a bit more using masks in Lightroom. We're also going to go over a little bit more advanced stuff on what we can do with these masks, and I'm going to show you a couple of scenarios on when I most usually use this technique. Generally this is for like portrait stuff, or if something's been underexposed, or if I'm doing live music and the background wants to be nice and bright and I want the subject a bit darker. So there's different ways to go about this. Making your subject stand out may not always be the way you want to go. Sometimes you might want to darken them down and brighten up the background to get that silhouette kind of look. These techniques actually work with both sides. So let's get into it. Okay, so I have a selection of photos here then. A couple of portrait-based ones, and then some live music ones pulled from my catalogue. And these are all raw kind of photos at the minute. I think there's one JPEG in here because I couldn't actually find the raw photo. But we're just going to go through a couple of these and see how we might edit them. Now, there are two sort of tools that I use in the masking that help with this. So in the past, I used to always use a radial gradient, and I would just simply select that and sort of draw it over my subject or the area I want to focus on. And then sliders you would usually use to make a subject stand out might be your exposure, just to raise the exposure slightly. You can also combine that in with like some shadows or some highlights. Also looking down at your clarity and maybe your contrast, just bringing those up ever so slightly as well. But largely it comes down to looking at your exposure, and straight away your eyes are already sort of focusing in on the face there. You can see it's a bit brighter. So that was a very basic technique you can get started with. Lightroom now does have the ability to actually select your subject as well. So if we get rid of this mask and we come back over here, we can choose select subject, wait for Lightroom to do its thing, and it will try its best to select it. Now normally it does quite a good job at this, but sometimes it's a little bit off and you have to go in and just manually brush over this. In which case you can see here it's done all right at selecting this, but as we kind of go down, we can see the mask is drifting over onto the fence. What we can do to sort that out then is to go over onto the mask here. We can hit the minus button for the subtract, and we can come down onto brush. Now if I brush over my mask, you can see I'm taking away that bit of red there, the selection. And I can be really sort of detailed to go all the way around that. I can see the bits that I've taken off, but as I would sort of zoom out, I would be very detailed to go in, have a look at that mask, and yeah, just get everything working. Once I've got my mask in place, I can do the usual things of bringing up the exposure there. Likewise with some of the others, I can bring up my clarity a bit more as well. And I can choose to have a play around with the dehaze. I don't tend to do this too much when it's portrait-based stuff, because sometimes that can screw around with the texture of the skin. Depends how it's been shot, whether it's been shot in harsh light, soft light. So you do have to be careful with these, but the exposure is the best one. Maybe introduce a bit of contrast. If your subject was an animal, again, if you're introducing a lot of clarity onto your animal there, if it's got fur, that fur may just stand out a little bit too much and might not be what you're after. So you've got to take it by whatever your subject is. So those are two ways that we can straight away start to do stuff. And you can see I can bring in some more shadows as well, and that just brings in a bit more details, and I can really make that subject sort of pop. If I go too far with it though, you can see it really then does become very separated from the background. So what I would always do with my photos is I would sort of draw around. If I do a subject select, or if I use a radial gradient in the middle, I would actually draw another radial gradient over this as a whole image. I would invert that, and then I would actually bring down the exposure from around the image there. And this is where I'd also actually bring down the clarity just to get a little bit more blur around the edges. So what I'm basically doing is the reverse of what I'm doing on my subject. So the outside I am darkening and I'm reducing the clarity, whereas in the middle I'll be brightening and maybe increasing the clarity or the contrast, again depending on the subject. What that actually ends up doing then is defining what's going on in the image. It draws your eyes in a lot more. So we see from the original here without the masks on, the lighting's very equal across the entire thing. As soon as I turn on those two masks, my eyes are pulled into the center without the subject necessarily feeling too separated out. Again, if I went too far on that, she would be quite separated. By just darkening those edges, combining these two masks together, we get quite a nice look on this. You find when you do this technique, you add a lot more dimension to your images. So that's one method that we can use, and it's a great one to start practicing with if you've never done this before. So try and find some photos where you may be a little bit underexposed, so your subject looks underexposed as well, and you want to brighten them up but keep the background dark. This technique can work really nicely with that. Let's have a look at advancing that a bit more though. So here I have a photo that I took. It's of band Arcadian, and I always like taking photos of the bassist here because he just moves a lot on stage, always has a lot of motion, so can be quite challenging to capture something that's not too blurred, especially in dark environments. But this was really cool on that night because we had all of these lights behind. Now again, the image feels a little bit flat here at the minute, so even if I do sort of a basic light exposure edit over here, which I would usually do when it comes to live music ones, he's still sort of just stuck at the same light. So I want to bring some separation into this, but maybe what I want to actually do is lighten up the background around him. So this is where we're going to start intersecting masks. So I'm going to come over here and I'm actually going to create a mask to select my subject. Now you can see what that's done here is not quite picked up everything, but we're going to come back to that in a bit, and I can be more detailed with that. But what I'm actually going to do now is invert this layer here. And now what that's going to do is actually select everything but the subject. So now we actually have the background selected. If I come up top, I'm now going to right click on here and I'm going to click intersect that mask with our radial gradient, so the other tool that we've been using. Now my aim with this is to brighten up behind him, so to show obviously more light coming in, but I don't want that light bleeding over onto the subject. So I'm going to draw my radial gradient around this, and I'm just going to angle it into the light a bit more like that. And now you can see that this is actually based behind the subject rather than in front of it. So now everything in the background is going to be affected but the subject. You'll also see that because we didn't quite get the leg covered, this is actually going to bleed over there onto the leg. So now if I raise my exposure, I can brighten up the background without affecting the actual subject. And this is a trick that I do a lot with live music photos because it just emphasizes those lights a bit more. And I can also come down and look at the dehaze slide, and if I introduce a little bit more haze, that helps with that glow effect. Clarity as well, you might want to pull down here, that can also help with a glow effect. But mostly I tend to go for the dehaze and the exposure, and you can see that just nicely brings in that bit of glow behind the subject. Again, we have a bit more definition, but we're not affecting the sort of lights that is actually on him. It is, however, down here on the leg because the mask didn't fully select everything. So now that I've got that in place, what I can do is fix that leg. So if I come down now onto my mask there, and I'm going to go down onto subtract now that I've got them intersecting with each other, and I'm going to subtract from this mask totally. So I'm going to click subtract, brush, and I'm going to simply brush over the leg here. Now you can see that the leg is not being affected by the masks that we had, so when we turn these masks on and off totally, we have that glow fully behind on there. So this technique works really well if you're kind of happy with how the subject is looking, perhaps, but you actually want to deal with the background a bit more. All you have to do is do that subject intersect with the radial, and then you can do any of the effects you want, and you can be very confident that you're not going to affect the light. Again, if we turn off these masks and bring them back on, we've immediately introduced some more dimension into the image. So when I go globally and I start doing some of these effects, so I might just increase saturation, maybe cool that down a little bit more, and you know, I would have to go in and do a hell of a lot of edits on this photo to make it look great, purely because the skin tones, everything's purple light there, but that's another video for another day. So that's how we would sort of edit the background. What if we wanted to do that in a slightly different way and perhaps darken the background with this? So let's have a look at that technique. So if I come over here to a portrait photo then, again, looking at this, it's very kind of, it's nicely lit up top here. Background's quite plain, not much dimension actually going on in this, so we might want to separate this out a bit more, especially down here where it gets darker. But it might be quite nice to darken down this bit and just help the subject stand out a little bit more. So this is less about editing the subject itself and more editing what's going on around it to darken that down. And in doing that, if you've got something that maybe is harshly lit and you don't want to play around with your clarity, you don't want to like disturb the details that are there, but the background can be easier to work with sometimes. This technique works well. So for this one, we're kind of going to go the opposite direction. We're actually going to start with a radial gradient there. And I'm just going to draw a radial gradient further up here. And remember, my aim with this is to darken down the background slightly. So I could go and select subject and invert and do background, but that would give me the entire background to bring down with the darkness, whereas this is more just going to give a nice effect right behind where the subject is sat. So I have my radial gradient. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to right click and intersect masked with, and this time select the subject. Let Lightroom do its thing. And boom, we end up with what looks like the subject reselected. So again, I'm going to go over here where it is inverted and I'm going to untick that. And what we end up with now is again that nice sort of glow behind the woman here. If I come over to my sides, I can now do my edit. So I'm going to bring down my exposure this time, and you can see that nicely darkens. And this is maybe where I actually bring up the dehaze slider a little bit more and perhaps bring down the blacks. Now the great thing about this is if I click back onto that, I can then pull my mask across and you can see that mask goes all around the subject and the subject is not affected. So I can edit this. Maybe this is a little bit too big for what I'm after at the moment. So I can just make that a bit smaller, and I really want to bring that focus sort of towards the middle of where the subject is. And I'm just going to pull that up like that and twist that slightly to match the angle of her head there. It might be a little bit too much exposure, so I can sort that out. And again, if I go up to the top now and turn off, you can see the subject is actually got nothing being done to it here. So I'm not touching anything about the subject, but I can play around with the background and perhaps go a little bit crazy on some of these sliders and not have to worry about ruining what the focus of the image is going to be. And again, it's just adding that extra bit of dimension. Now, if it's the other way round and you wanted to brighten it, then that's very simple. Again, you can just bring up the exposure of that mask that you had there instead of down to get that glow effect again. But in this case, I want to bring it down. Now, these are really cool techniques, and you might think, well, why don't I just use the select subject one to begin with? And that's because you don't always want to edit your subject, and I cannot stress that enough. There are times like this where if you edit your subject, you may be introducing things into the image you don't want to do. The background is way easier to play with because it is the background, it's not the center of the attention, and that's where these two techniques work. If you're just starting out with this though, have a play around with the select subject and the radial filters like we did on the first image over here. This is a great way to straight away bring dimension in, and to be honest, it's a technique that I would probably put on at the end even after doing the intersecting methods. And that's just because it's another way of just adding more dimension and focusing your eye in on the subject. Start with that, and then as you get a bit more comfortable with which sliders you'll need to use to like bring up the exposure, maybe bring in some more details, it's personalized to whatever you're trying to do with that subject. Then have a play at the intersecting ones, see if you can find photos. Live music ones do work really well, and see if you can introduce sort of that glow that is sat behind there. So I hope you find that really useful. I personally overuse masks quite a lot in Lightroom because once you've done all of your base edits and things like that, that's great for editing the image globally, even if you're doing local adjustments of color, but adding in masks is what really makes your image pop and stand out. It's what draws your eye in compositionally to different bits. So I'd always encourage people to use masks, and the intersecting function is fantastic in Lightroom. I really like how that works, but sometimes it takes a bit of knowledge and a bit of experimenting on working out actually what masks can use together. And it all comes down to what is your purpose with the image. So hopefully with those three methods there, one of them will match with what you're trying to do. Go away, have a try of it, let me know in the comments below if it worked and what else you might want to see. If you really did like this, I'd appreciate it if you can like and subscribe. It really just helps support the channel, and I do enjoy making these videos. Other than that, thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.